They called him a monster, a thief, a ghost with no past and no future. He was found on a stormy November night in 1997, abandoned outside a crumbling hospital on Chicago's South Side. Rain poured in sheets. A nurse spotted the bundle on the steps, soaked and silent. Inside the blanket, a newborn baby boy. No note, no name, just a silver locket with no photo inside. The nurses named him Baby John Doe. He spent the first 6 months of his life in a state-run orphanage before being passed into foster care. What followed was a carousel of temporary homes and broken promises. Families took him in, some for the money, others out of pity, but none offered love. He was beaten in one home, locked in closets in another. One foster father made him sleep in the garage, next to tools and old tires. He was only 8. By 12, he'd learned not to cry, not to ask questions, not to expect anyone to stay. At school, he was a quiet kid in the back. No birthday parties, no emergency contacts. He wore the same shoes for 3 years. He had one photo of himself, a school ID from 5th grade. The corners were torn. He kept it in a sock. By 15, he was angry. Angry at the system. Angry at the families. Angry at the silence that followed him everywhere. He stopped trusting adults. He started skipping school, shoplifting, sleeping in abandoned cars when foster homes kicked him out. Then one night, everything shattered. A convenience store in his neighborhood was robbed at gunpoint. The thief wore a hoodie. The footage was grainy, but someone said they thought it looked like the Doe Kid. Just like that, the police were at his door. No weapon was found. No fingerprints matched. No money was recovered. But that didn't matter. He was a foster kid with no parents, no alibi, no one to fight for him. So they cuffed him, processed him, and locked him in juvenile detention. He spent 181 days in that cell, forgotten, lost, stripped of what little hope he had left. Then came August 9, 2022, a quiet Tuesday. Nothing unusual, until a social worker, filing routine medical updates, ran his name through a new national DNA registry. The result pinged within seconds. There was a match. 24 years earlier, in New York City, a newborn named Noah Elijah Kensington had been stolen from a private hospital just hours after birth. Security footage showed a woman in scrubs wheeling him out, but her face was never identified. The case had gone cold, despite national headlines and a $1 million reward. The Kensingtons, one of the wealthiest real estate families in Manhattan, never gave up. Every year, on Noah's birthday, his mother lit a candle and waited. Now her son had been found. When the news broke, it spread like wildfire. Heir to billionaire empire found in Chicago. From foster kid to fortune. Lost boy found after 24 years. But the headlines didn't tell the full story. No one asked how a kidnapped baby ended up abandoned in a different city. No one asked why it took over 2 decades and a crime he didn't commit for the system to notice him. No one asked why, when he was 12 and crying in court to stay in a good foster home, no judge saw his value. He had suffered for years, in silence, all because no one thought he mattered. When Noah met his birth mother, she didn't speak at first. She just collapsed in tears and hugged him so tightly he couldn't breathe. He said he didn't cry. Not until she showed him the nursery that had waited for him, untouched for 24 years. But not everything could be undone. The years in detention, the beatings, the labels, the loneliness. And though he now bore the Kensington name, wealth didn't erase what had already been stolen from him. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a reckoning. How many other children fall through the cracks? How many other stories never get told? The system didn't just fail Noah. It forgot him, and it nearly buried him. If that DNA sample had never been filed, if no one ever checked, would we still believe he was just another bad kid? Would the world have ever known the truth? Do you believe justice was truly served, or was it just too late?